Oy.
Oh, that's it.
Oh, no.
Wow.
Oh, no.
Wow. Wow.
Oh, no.
Wow.
That was a nasty fucking kick.
Amanda Lemos is very dangerous, but this young man has tremendous potential.
Young man.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Joe.
Saturday night, time for the fights. Crank up the volume and turn up the lights.
Mr. Gator.
Gator don't play no shit. You feel me? Gator never been about that. Never been about playing no shit.
What did you get? How many did you get right? How many did you get wrong?
Got 2 right, 3 wrong.
That makes sense because I got the opposite. It was 3 right, 2 wrong. And I was not happy about that last one. No. I think you should probably be the one that's up 3-2, but we will come back to that.
No, God! No, God, please, no! No! No!
Give me your finish of the night.
Finish of the night.
Yeah. I think it's pretty obvious,
Oh,
but
man.
I'm going to ask you anyway.
That fucking spinning kick from Rupee, man. That shit was nasty, bro.
It was nasty.
That was cold-blooded.
We love you, King Green.
I love you, King Green.
Yeah. But sometimes real kicks happen. So I just wanted to get that out of the way because I think that was so obvious that, you know, we're both going to agree on that.
Yeah, bro.
There's not much else to say. But I do have a question for you. What do you think the fight of the night was?
Gaethje Fiziev.
That's what I had as well. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's pretty obvious as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just 2 boys went after it. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Is there anything that stood out to you this fight? Remember, we were talking about the last fight. What stood out to you this fight with them?
I mean, definitely Gaethje's biggest hit on Fiziev was that uppercut, and that's what was messing him up on that first fight that they
Which
had.
is what we talked about, right?
Yeah, we definitely talked about that. You could tell towards the end of that round 3. I mean, they both were exhausted, but like Fiziev was fucked up.
Yeah.
I mean, he got hit with that hard uppercut towards the end of that second round. It just looked, I mean, definitely has some lingering effects on him, but amazing recovery on both of them. They both got hit with crazy shots. They both kept going. They're just dogs, man.
Yeah, dogs, bro. And, you know, I thought it was interesting, too, because we were talking about how Gaethje is a bit more potential to be chinny because of that last fight. And you said, you know, that happened after taking a lot of damage in a fight where he was gassed at the end and then he got in the pocket with Max.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think he could probably still eat shots at the beginning of the fight. And I said, yeah, maybe, but we don't really know until he goes in there and, you know, shows that he can still take those shots. And he took a couple of shots that would, you know, put a lot of guys out. And especially if you were chinny, you're going to be put out by those. And he ate them like Gaethje normally does eat those kind of shots.
Somebody stop the fight! Where's the doctor?
Kill him!
Yeah, he got knocked out by Holloway, but I don't think it had as much of an effect like a lot of people were putting onto him. I mean, your chin just doesn't go away after one knockout.
Yeah, well, it can. Especially when you're at his age and you don't
Yeah.
really know how your brain's going to recover. Everybody's brain's different, right? Especially after all the wars Justin's been in. You don't really know. One thing I liked, though, was Justin took the proper amount of time off.
Yeah.
He let his body heal. He came back refreshed. And I think that's the way to do it. A lot of these guys get chinned and then they're desperate, so they come back as soon as they're
keep
allowed to
fighting.
fight again. And it's like, bro, you're going to get chinned like that. Like, you have to let your brain recover.
That is true. He did take a lot of time off.
Yeah.
Had that proper recovery. It's not like he, you know, took the, you know, minimum
Right.
time off and then jumped back in
No.
because, like you said, like, it does have lingering effects. That would have been a completely different conversation.
That is correct.
Once again, the uppercuts were the key decider in it. It just looked like once Fiziev loses his ability to stay away and use the kicks from range, he doesn't necessarily have the best time dealing with Justin, because Justin does such a good job of putting together his boxing combinations. He was hitting him with 1, 2, 3, and it was kind of like, you know, I don't remember the exact details, but I just remember looking at the type of shots Justin was throwing, and it was all the shots he was throwing was designed to get you to move your hands this way, move your hands this way. I'm going to hit you with this shot, and then this shot's going to open up because I hit you with that shot. And he just had that flow with his punches that were lining up back to back with each other, you know?
Yeah, and he throws with some hate behind him. I mean,
yes,
like,
he does.
Even if your intention, like, because some guys will try to pull the hands down. I mean, just his shots alone, you're like, kind of like have that recoil, that rebound. It's like, fuck, man, get that away from him.
One thing I noticed that Justin's really good at, too, is when you break from clinches, he's really good at getting that right hand over the top quick.
He's throwing something. A lot of people will break and kind of get away free, like, not with him.
He always throws something.
He's throwing something, and that's Fiziev was doing a good job of keeping the knees up.
Yeah.
And then he, like, early on in the fight, he was doing a great job attacking the body, and actually throughout the fight, he did a great job attacking the body.
Yeah.
Which, even though he didn't get the win, definitely helped slow Gaethje down, you know?
It's true. It's not true.
Well, I'll throw a wild card at you right now.
All right.
Joshua Van.
What do you think? Nice.
I think he's really young, and I think, like, after the fight, he put on Twitter that he was like, sorry, I should have done more in that fight. And I was like, there's no reason to be sorry, bro. GG's. That you put, like, you were fighting, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy wasn't trying to fight. He was trying to wrestle him.
The man sniffs jockstraps for a living. He sniffs buttholes for a living.
I think you're going to have to see him against higher level competition to really know.
Yeah.
But I do like the potential he has.
Great potential from that guy.
Yeah.
I think that's a guy, I guess that's my comment, I guess, but that's a guy to keep your eye on. I think he's got great potential, and he shows development, and, I mean, dude's there to scrap, man.
Yeah, he was there to fight. He wanted to fight. He didn't want to wrestle.
Like,
Yeah, he wasn't interested in wrestling. He wanted to fight.
I like this one.
Bahamondes, with his submission, I just thought, watching that guy fight, he looks like he is so happy to be fighting. He would rather be doing nothing else than be in that ring. He's not like worried about losing or worried about the result. He's literally like there to have fun and enjoy the fight because he likes to fight. That's what it looked like.
oh, yeah. No, that dude's crazy how he's 6'3" and makes 155.
Same for Jalen Turner.
Both of them. Insane.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that dude, Bahamondes, like, great striking. He pulled that submission out his ass when it's like, oh, you look like you're in a bad spot, and he turned it into a fucking win. And
Yeah.
That's a dude who loves scrap and is comfortable being uncomfortable.
What do you think about his potential?
I mean, he's got great potential. I mean, with a fighter that size, able to if he can consistently stay at that weight, even if he moved up at welterweight.
He looked to me like he was smaller than Jalen.
Yeah, both of them. I mean,
Not like shorter, but size-wise.
What do you mean by that?
great dude to watch, entertaining guy to watch. I hope he does great. I think he does have the potential to be great.
Yeah.
You know? And like you said, guys like that who they want to be there.
Question number 1 for you, Gator. There was a couple of fights that had some decisions that I don't necessarily agree with. One was particularly egregious, what with the prelims, Nick Marshall and Gabriel Santos.
Yep.
Wrong.
Or I'm sorry, Nick Marshall and Myron Santos.
Yes.
And I thought that was a very poor decision. I actually had it 3-0 for Marshall. And they ended up giving that one to Santos. And then again, in the main event, we had Ankalaev and Pereira, in which I had it 3-2 for Pereira.
Yep.
But I could totally see an argument for 3-2 on Ankalaev. I can't see an argument for either one for 4-1.
No.
And yet, unanimous decision. Not one person saw it for Pereira in round 3, which I thought is unreal. And then Sal D'Amato gives round 5 to Ankalaev for clinching and landing a few knees.
Yeah.
So, interesting scorecard to say the least.
Some people are really fucking stupid.
It's an octagon. There's 8 sides. Why is it there 8 judges, 1 on each side? Because you can, like, where the judges are sitting at might see something. They might see a hit that looks like it hits, but it kind of glances. And then there's all these different angles. But if you get 8 judges not all sitting next to each other, fucking cheating off each other like it's homework, you know, at each corner, and they could all have their own angles, you're seeing how the fight goes. And I know 8's an even number. People, you know, but still, the chances of 8 guys agreeing on the same thing or having a 50-50 split on that, they seem kind of unlikely.
Seems unlikely.
Yeah.
I think it makes it even more unlikely that if you do 8 people than it does for 3. Like, you know, and I get it because it's like it's an even number, but it's like, I don't know, man. You start factoring in 10-8 rounds and shit like that, and shit happens with 3 judges too. So I think having 8 judges doing it probably is a good idea, especially with the 1 on each side. But yeah, hey, you want to call it an odd number? Shit, man, make it 9.
Yeah, why not?
Throw 1 more in there and put somebody that's watching it on a screen.
Yeah, put them
right?
on the ceiling. You know,
just watching it on the camera feeds that are coming in, right?
That is really super. How did a nitwit like you get so tasteful?
I love that idea of having person at each side at that.
Yeah, because
angle.
like I can't remember which fight it was, but the commentators, because you know they're all sitting at a desk, you know, watching it from one side, and they're like, "Oh, big!" I remember them saying, "Big right hand from this guy just landed," and we're watching it from TV. It was a completely different angle, and it like whiffed past him, like it like whiffed past his head, hit his shoulder. It looked like it hit it from their angle, but from what we could see, from
do all the judges sit on the same side?
Yeah, well, not. Yeah, I believe all the judges.
Oh, that's
do sit on the
fucking
same
awful.
side. Yeah.
That's terrible.
I could be wrong about that, but I believe
I
that's
think
how
you're
it's
right.
done.
I'm pretty sure I'm used to seeing them sit together, and that seems stupid.
Because I know the commentators all sit together for sure, and like Joe Rogan, oh, big right from
Pereira
or whatever, and it could look like it hits from where he's sitting at down, you know, down below, like looking up at them.
We're coming at Dana for the 8 judges thing, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Octagon, Octaref.
Yeah, but I think that's the proper way to. I mean,
Octopus.
Without having it all, you know, the bajillion cameras and smart AI intelligence taking over, like 8 human judges is from each angle, I think is the purest way, the best way to get that accomplished.
Octagon.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Bahamondes taking the win over Turner. He's going to have to now fight somebody above Turner.
Yeah.
So here are some options for you for them to fight next. Okay, so we're going to take Paddy Pimblett off the board because he's already going to scheduled for a fight. For now, we'll take him off the board. He's going to be fighting Michael Chandler. So, number 11, Rafael Fiziev. Number 10, Renato Moicano. Number 9, Beneil Dariush. Or number 6, Dan Hooker.
I love Dan Hooker.
You want him to fight Dan Hooker? You think he deserves to jump all the way up to 6?
That's I mean, it's not an unreasonable jump. I think he's been fighting pretty consistently, and the fights he puts on.
I also think that the UFC loves that too, because you get. I don't want to say an easy fight because Dan Hooker's not an easy fight, but it's one of the easier guys in the top 10.
I think this kid is proving himself, and he deserves a shot with how like consistent he is.
Finishing,
not only with fighting, but with finishing and just putting on like awesome fights that people want to watch. And I think his build is similar to Hooker's build. You know, tall, lankier dudes for that weight class.
How long do you think it's taking? Because I know Dan Hooker just had the hand surgery. So like, do you think he waits that long? I don't know how long that shit takes to heal for real.
I don't know. I would assume at least 2-3 months, but I know.
I mean, that would probably be about the next time he would fight anyway, right?
Yeah. I mean, if it lines up, I think the Dan Hooker fight would be a great fight, and not only for like both of them, but I mean for us as fans.
Yeah, and I just don't see a lot of like, I just think like the UFC is gonna want to set up their young guy like that Chilean. He's like a young star. He brings the Chilean country. They're gonna want to set him up for somewhat of success to be able to like make it into that top to get into those bigger fights. And like I'm not like no disrespect to Dan Hooker because he's obviously a top fighter for getting into that, top 10 to begin with, but he's been the most inactive of, or one of the most inactive of all these guys.
Yeah.
He's had some injuries. He's lost to some of the better guys in the division. It sets him up by giving that number 6 rank to be able to have Bahamondes jump up. So I like that.
It helps Bahamondes out, and if Hooker does lose, it sets him up to just be like the weight class gatekeeper,
Yeah.
which is fucking awesome.
Yeah, well, I'm sure he doesn't think so.
No.
I'm not one of them! Do you understand me? You better get that through your fat head! I will never be one of them, and if you say it again, I swear to God, I'll smash your fucking teeth in!
But, okay. So that is for Bahamondes. And then the other one I had, which is actually the main one, but I wanted to bring up Bahamondes first, was Rufi. Okay, so he just beat Bobby Green.
King Green.
And, King Green is right outside that top 15. He's like right around that 15 to 20 range. Who does he fight next out of these same guys? Because I think he earned a top 15 shot with that performance.
They're not on my level!
I have a crazy idea, which kind of ties into one of my questions, though.
Okay.
One of my questions is, what's next for Fiziev? Because I thought Fiziev stepping up last minute, really showed a lot of nuts. That's what the UFC loves. That's what us fans love. Great fight. Could have gone different if he had a full fight camp.
Yep.
But with what time he had and the performance he showed, still amazing.
Yep.
What if Fiziev fights the winner of that Pimblett Chandler, and then Rufi fights the loser of that fight?
I don't see that happening because Pimblett and Chandler, if Pimblett wins, he rockets up.
Yeah.
They're not going to have him fight back. So they're not going to have him go up to fight back Fiziev.
Okay.
They're not going to do that with him.
Gotcha.
So they're not going to take the risk of him losing that ranking once they get him up there. They're going to have Patty fight up. So that's the problem with that. If Patty loses, that's possible.
Okay.
But I still even doubt that because I don't think that they're going to want to set Patty up against somebody like Fiziev.
Okay.
They have an investment in Patty, right? So they're going to try to set him up. That's why they're giving him Chandler. Chandler's the easiest. I don't want to say the easiest because, again, nobody's easy, but he's 2-4 in the UFC.
Yeah.
And he's still in that top rank. You can make a pretty good argument that Patty can win that fight and take that ranking, So I didn't like the announcement to begin with because it felt like they were handing it to Patty. But at the end of the day, it's a business, and that is good for their business for him to go up in the rankings like that. So that's what I see happening.
Here it is. Show me the money.
I didn't say Rufi against Gamrot.
I could see Rufi against Gamrot.
I think that'd be a good one because looking at that
but
list.
But at the same time, I think Benoit Saint Denis maybe.
Yeah.
Benoit Saint Denis because he's at 15 and it gets Rufi into that top 15. And I think that after he's been exposed a couple times. BSD, I think the UFC is kind of probably understands that he's not like a future title contender or anything like that.
Yeah.
And so they're probably going to want to try to trade him, that spot out. I could be wrong, but I would favor Rufi pretty heavily in that.
Yeah.
So that's what I think will happen. I think they'll probably match him up with either BSD or Jalen Turner maybe if Jalen Turner decides not to retire.
Yeah, that's the only reason I didn't really say him because he just fought and he seemed iffy about even fighting to begin with.
He's emotional.
We'll see. Just take it one day at a time. But yeah, I've been thinking about this for a while. So yeah, I think that's it for me.
Well, Jalen, we appreciate all the great fights that you have given us in the UFC. You had a lot of love in your life. This was the most important. So thank you so much for doing this and appreciate your honesty tonight.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, honesty is the best policy, man. I'm really transparent with what I go through and what's going on, and mental health is real. Just keep it intact. Keep your loved ones close to you. Do what matters most, and seize every opportunity you can. I was a kid with a dream. I started doing this in my backyard, from nothing, and to be top 15, top 10 in the most stacked division in the UFC and the biggest promotion. You know, it's all a blessing. And I didn't want to end it there, but I just feel like I think that's it. You know.
Yeah. So he's a question mark as far as I'm concerned right now. I hope he doesn't retire because, I mean, that would make a lot of sense, but I don't know what his fight rate is, you know, how fast he's going to turn around. And, I mean, Rufy didn't take any damage. He's ready to fight, you know, tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I just thinking about him probably wanting to get up the ranks as fast as possible, want to fight as frequently as possible.
Yep.
So, I mean, definitely someone I think – I know Gamrot, like, at number 8 is a big jump, but, I mean – I would say Fiziev if he didn't just, you know, step up and you know, fight.
Right.
I think just by doing that favor to the UFC and us, I think Fiziev kind of gets another shot at jumping up again, you know, instead of fighting the guy below him. I think he deserves that shot because he's shown he's a dog and he wants to fight. So I think Fiziev deserves to fight someone up, which leaves, you know, Rufy to fight. You know, Turner's a question mark. Pimblett's already got a fight lined
How
up.
about Fiziev versus Dariush?
That'd be a good one.
Right?
Yeah.
I'd like that.
Dariush. Or even, I mean, Dariush, and like we said earlier, Gamrot. I mean, he's sitting at that number 8 spot. I'm sure he's itching to fight again. It's been a minute since we've seen him. So,
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Rate the card, 1 to 10.
Oh, man.
And why?
Just the main card?
No.
The prelims that we saw.
The whole thing.
I give it a 7.
Okay. Why?
I mean, just seeing like what we say with the two, you know, unfair judgings, if you will.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of like
dampers it.
That dampers it a lot, especially when it's the main event. You know.
Yeah, that stinks.
If that would have happened, if it would have been any other fight earlier, like it wouldn't have like stung as much, you know.
Yeah.
But just being like, oh, it's a great card, like a lot of bangers, a lot of finishes, a lot of great fights, you know, just dogs at it, and then the main card ends like that.
Yeah. I had it at a 7.5. Like you said, bro, it was good. I really enjoyed all the fights. I stayed engaged the whole time. The only fight that stunk was the chick fight. That was pretty awful.
But enough about me. I hope this hasn't been boring for you. It's just that whenever I start to talk about Lane, I always get so carried away. I lose all track of time.
Another sub, Van with the like dominant fight. You know, another KO with Rufy, crazy KO. The Lamos fight was lame, but I mean,
Lamos
for real. With this domination of the fighting nerds.
Fighting nerds!
For a camp who specializes in studying your weakness and using that against you, you know, like if you're going up and fighting a fighting nerd and you know that's what they do, they're gonna exploit your weakness. How do you counter that? You know, do you like how would you go about that?
I don't know.
What makes the fighting nerd special is that they all train together and they're all highly elite fighters, and they have a really great gym for wanting to do things what they consider to be intelligent instead of just the way things have always been done.
Mm-hmm.
So they do things the way that they believe is to maximize fighting in today's UFC.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's necessarily like, what do you do to counter that, as to look at what they're doing and, I don't want to say copy it, but understand that that's a big part of it. You want to surround yourself with a team with a bunch of talented people so that you're forced to learn things from each other.
Yeah.
You sit there every day and you go, you know, I'm great at this area, this guy's great at this area, this guy's great at this area. You guys hang around each other long enough, you're going to learn little tricks on how to do that. And I think that you're going to have to have some some special skills, man.
What do you mean?
You know, like nunchuck skills, bow hunting skills, computer hacking skills. Girls only want boyfriends who have great skills.
Like the thing about the fighting nerds is it's not just like, oh, I just joined this camp and I'm gonna be really good. It's like all those guys
they're talented.
They're really talented, and all of them have special things that they do.
You gotta have size, reach, length. You've gotta have some attributes.
But yeah, so I just think you're gonna have to have a special skill. Like that guy, like Hoofy, when you watch him, like I said, man, the guy's got God-given abilities, you know. So you're gonna have to have something like that, and when you combine talent with the amount of work that these dudes put in and the faith that they have in, you know, God as well as each other, they're gonna be dangerous, man. They're gonna be dangerous for anybody. They have a crazy self-belief, so you better match.
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna have to match.
Well, around here, between Normandy and Weston, we call this here a little twin. Wow. Nigga.
Dagestani camp kind of does, where they kind of take a lot of those, you know, take that range away from you and keep that pressure on you, keep you on the back foot.
Yeah, and you're gonna be risking a lot of danger because they're gonna be hitting you with some shit.
I mean, yeah, like we saw with Ankalaev, you know,
they're gonna be walking you into counters, you know.
Yeah, you're gonna have to play a dangerous game, but you're gonna have to be really, really good to even pull that off, you know.
As far as I could tell, like Jean Silva and a lot of these dudes, they're really good at striking off their back foot too. So you're gonna be playing a dangerous game. But I always think that the key to a lot of fights is pressure. So you know, we'll see. All right, guys. As always, this was JP26. This is your boy JP.
I'm Gator.
And we're going to see you guys next time.
Chama.
Peace out. Hehehehe